I said, you just signed a 7-year deal for $1 million a year guarantee, and you're going to leave the company. I said, Vince is he's gonna have, and Brock goes in that next day and says, right, this is before Mania, and says, listen, I want to tell everybody that I'm quitting. I'm trying out pro football, which he failed at. You know, the one thing about Brock that makes me nervous about him fighting is he tends to sometimes mentally collapse. I think he did for a second in that fight when that guy guy went to his back and kind of went toward Brock's leg, and Brock kind of hesitated. And it was one of those things where Brock had to know what this kid was doing. He wasn't going to attack the kid's Brock's upper body. And, you know, like with Brock at the WrestleMania thing when he hesitated. Mm-hmm. And like when he wrestled in college and he was supposed to kill everybody in his senior year and he hesitated and he lost one of his matches. You know, Brock has a tendency of choking. And that's what happened in the UFC fight. You know, he hesitated for a second, guy caught him. And
great fight though. Only went a minute 30.
Oh yeah. I mean, for the couple minutes that it was, I think Brock looked incredible. And I even texted Dana White and I said Brock looked awesome.
He didn't harm anybody. It was the best thing in the world.
And Brock was a man. Got up and said, you know what? Nobody wins them all.
Last question. Then?
Yeah, there was this story about a maybe drink driving incident with you, and I know a lot of your fans were very upset about it.
Yeah.
What's your side of the story? Because a lot of the fans like Kurt's brilliant in TNA. He's turned his life around. He's got no problems anymore. And then we hear that someone spotted a bald man driving a car and praying.
This is what happened. I was waiting on a prescription, not painkillers. And I went to a restaurant bar, and I had lunch, and I had 3 beers. And when I pulled out of the bar, there's a blind spot. There's a hill that goes up, and there's a forest. So when you pull out, you can't see the oncoming traffic. And if you're speeding, you're going to get in an accident. Well, when I pulled out, this lady was speeding. She slammed on her brakes. She got pissed off, and she wrote down my license plate. And she followed me, and she told the police she followed me for 10 minutes. The police station was only a quarter mile away, so she only followed me for 20 seconds. So she said that I crossed the yellow line twice, that I looked in, I don't know how she could tell from behind, but that I visibly looked impaired, whatever. So she stopped, called the police, and she was at the police station, which was only a quarter mile from this bar. And she gave me the license plate. And the first thing the police did is turned it over. And they said, where were you? And she goes, well, I was at the Coons grocery store, and I was on my way back home, and this guy cut me off, and he looked like he was drunk. And the cops turned the receipt over, and 2 minutes before the incident happened, she was at the liquor store, and there was enough liquor on there to kill 20 people. Not only that, she had a DUI charge 3 weeks before mine. So basically, this lady got pissed off. Okay, because I accidentally cut her off. And she said she slammed on her brakes, and they checked for skid marks. She lied. There were no skid marks. She said that her brakes, that her wheels had she had to stop like that. And then the cops interviewed 2 construction sites, and both of them saw me driving, and they said that I was driving fine. I went home. I actually opened up another drink, had another drink. Cops came to my door. I invited them in. They said, hey, this lady called you in, we want to do a couple tests on you. So I did, and I passed all of them. I even passed the sobriety test. And the sergeant called in the police, and because of all the wrestling thing that was going on, with Benoit and everything, and Eddie, God bless him, the sergeant wanted me arrested. So he said, I want him to take a blood test. So I said, you guys are going to make me leave my house, which I'm in my home right now, and you guys have no right to take me out of my house because you did not catch me on the road, and you're going to take me now after I pass the sobriety test and make me go to the hospital. They said, we have to. Our sergeant told us. All right, let's go. I'm on my way, and all of a sudden my wife gets a call from our babysitter, and she calls my agent. My agent calls me. He says, Kurt, don't take the test. I said, they're just going to test me for blood alcohol. He goes, no, they won't. They're going to test you for everything. He goes, any kind of medication you're on, whatever. He goes, I'm telling you right now, do not take the test. Even if you've taken a drug from 2 years ago, you don't know if it's going to stay in your system. He said, do not take the test. And then he started going over this, they're going to test for cocaine and marijuana. I'm going, what the? I don't do that. But you have to realize that he's an agent for professional athletes. They lie to him.
Yeah.
I don't do coke, and then all of a sudden they do the test and the guy's doing coke. So, he's just throwing that at me, and I'm like, what are you talking about? Cocaine, jeez. And so I said, no, I'm going to take it. So I hung up on him. He calls me back again. And the police officer's like, "You're not allowed to be talking on the phone." And I said, "Well, sorry, but it's my agent." And the police officer was supposed to force me to get off the phone. So what happened is, it's a technicality. My agent talked me out of taking the test. The cops knew I was willing to take it. And since I talked to my agent in the police car, that's the police fault.
Yeah.
So everything in the whole story, follow me for 10 minutes, crossing the lines, the lady slamming on her brakes, all the booze on the receipt where she lied and said she was at a grocery store. This whole thing should have been thrown out. Basically, I just have to let go of the hearing. I'm not even going. And my attorney said, "Kurt, this is going to get thrown out." And they probably won't even they'll probably cut a deal with you where they want you to go to a class and they'll drop the DUI. And he goes, "But do you want to be exonerated?" I said, "Yes." He goes, "You're going to have to pay more money, but your name will be cleared and we'll go to court." So they want to make a deal, and I'm not going to take it. So I'm going to make sure I get exonerated because it was completely unfair.
Yeah. Thank you so much for coming in. Thank you for spending so much time with us, and really looking forward to TNA coming over here later this year. It will be brilliant. I think we're going to get the Coventry one. It's a great venue. It's a really good venue.
I heard so.
It's it's very sort of old ECW arena
They're right
type,
on you, right?
and a really good crowd as well. So that'll be brilliant.
I can't wait.
What's your final message to both the fans in England and also the people in the WWE? Maybe the guys who are going to be in competition, your Triple H's and your Undertakers. Should they be looking over their shoulders?
Yeah, I mean, I've even heard that one of the wrestlers really laid into the over 40s club. That's what they call it.
Yeah, Randy Orton. Yeah.
Wow. The thing is, if those guys leave, WWE's really in trouble. And I'm talking Undertaker is on his last leg. Triple H, one more knee injury. I mean, the guy's already banged up and beat up. Shawn Michaels, his back's shot. I mean, these guys are wrestling literally on fumes, and Vince McMahon's paying them a lot of money, and they're working part-time. And then you got all these young guys that are on TV. So, like, when you go to a TNA event, all the talent shows up, whether it's a TV show or a house show. You go to a WWE event, you're getting guys that aren't even on a damn TV show. They even have guys from OVW who aren't even up in WWE yet going to the show, and you're watching nobodies, and you're going, what the hell did I pay money for this? And the main event's some lower middle card match, and it's just like, wow, this is horrible. So, WWE can't even back up that Undertaker and Shawn Michaels and Triple H are going to be at the events. They're not going to be there. The only person that has done it and has been a workhorse, and a couple of them, but John Cena and Batista has stepped up. He was horrible the first couple years, but he has stepped up. And I think that Randy Orton is the future of the company. I think he's a name and face. And if he matures, I think WWE will still have a chance to go head-to-head with TNA. But, I mean, they are going downhill fast. But it's guys like Randy Orton that are going to have to shape up, start teaching the younger talent, and quit being so immature because he's done some really nasty things. And if he matures, he's the future of the company. I mean, I once, and I'll tell you this real quickly, Triple H came to me and told me that Batista was the future of the company. And I looked at him like he was, like he had 8 eyes. I'm thinking, Batista? You mean the guy that gets hurt every other match, that can't wrestle a match? This was like 2 years ago when Triple H had him beat him 3 straight times. Yeah. I'm going, what are you doing? You got Randy Orton, And he goes, no. He goes, Batista's the future. And I said, no. He's the now, and he's going to be the has-been in 2 years because his body's not going to hold up. Randy Orton's young, and he's fresh, and he's a great wrestler, And, what Cena lacks, he makes up for in the show. So, I mean, even his promos are as good as John's. So, overall, Randy's the best wrestler there. And, it's going to really be up to him to keep the company going because when those guys are gone, WWE's going to go downhill fast. But TNA, like I said, we got the young talent, and like I said, we're making characters, and this company's growing so fast. It's going to be a big turnaround. So Vince McMahon's going to really have to, he's already looking over his shoulder. And I'll tell you why real quickly. He is advertising on our show now. He wouldn't even take a second glance at our show. Now everything, his pay-per-views, his DVDs, everything, his merchandise, everything, all these, like I'm watching, I'm going, why the hell is WWE advertising on our show? And it's like, well, finally, Vince McMahon knows.
Take that as a compliment. Because you get really pissed about it, just take it as a compliment.
Exactly. That's what we do.
Because the first time you want to rush into Dick's office and go, "What is this on my show?" Take it as a compliment.
It is a compliment.
And keep going strong. Well, thank you very much, Kurt.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.